Okay, folks. So this is the third little lesson we're going to do this week. We're going to start the endocrine system. And here's a program of studies. So you may want to just quickly look over this. We want to do this part today, and then the rest of this we'll do next week, unless you want to work ahead and read through that in your textbook, which would be a good idea. Okay, so homeostasis is a word that means body and balance. The nervous system is fast. Endocrine system is slow. We get immediate response. We get a long-term sustained effect from the endocrine. And nervous system uses action potentials, transmit. Endocrine uses the blood, neurotransmitters, hormones. Examples would be epinephrine, but epinephrine is also a hormone as well. And they're regulated usually by negative feedback. So it's a key concept we want to look at. Endocrine, these are glands and the hormones they secrete. Endocrine glands and the hormones they secrete. Exocrine has a duct. This is a duct. And this would be something like saliva. Saliva is an exocrine gland. It goes into your mouth. Okay. Endocrine, there are no ducts. D-U-C-T-S, ducts. There's no ducts. It spills directly into your blood. That's what we mean by endocrine. Hormones directly into the blood. That's what the endocrine glands release, hormones. Okay, so each hormone has specific target cells. Their interaction with these cells sets motion-specific responses. So some are lipid-soluble hormones. They're the steroid hormones. They go directly across a cell membrane. Okay, and this is a lipid-soluble steroid hormone. It's going to move directly across the cell membrane and affect protein synthesis, the DNA transcription translation here. And that's going to activate something. So testosterone or estrogen would be examples of steroidal hormones. And that's going to activate anabolism, the growth. It's going to activate growth, so build up of, say, muscles or cartilage. Water-soluble hormones are peptide or amino acids, and they are an example of this would be like insulin. It lands on a receptor site that has a chain effect on changing the dynamics inside a cell. There's a chain effect occurs, and we get an activated protein, okay, in response. So you don't have to worry about this part right here. Don't worry about that. It just wants to show you that there's a receptor that it docks on. It can't move through. So cell binds with cell membranes. Okay, now this diagram is on the first page of the little workbook I've given you. And we're going to label the different hormones, or glands, sorry. Hypothalamus, part of the brain, if you recall, okay? And that is going to control the pituitary gland, which is called the master gland. Make sure you're labeling these, master gland. And the pineal gland, we're going to see that this is responsible, well, we don't even really cover this one in Bio 30, but it's responsible for your diurnal cycle, so your sleep-wake cycle, okay? It's affected by daylight. So thyroid gland, butterfly little gland in your that's around your throat. Parathyroids are embedded in them. They are going to affect calcium levels in your bones and your blood. Thyroid affects metabolism. It releases thyroxine. Thymus is a gland, but we don't refer to it much in Bio 30 at all. Only T cell production in immunology in Bio 20. Okay, adrenal glands, we've talked about those before, that the pituitary, your peripheral nervous system can stimulate these to release adrenaline. Okay, fight or flight system. Pancreas is going to release the insulin. Now, in Bio 20, you learned about it for its digestion properties, okay, all the different enzymes it releases. But about 2% of the pancreas is devoted to insulin, and the opposite of that is glucagon. So those are hormones we want to look at. Now, six glands are the ovaries, and if the ovaries descend, they form testis, okay? And these are going to produce estrogen and testosterone. Okay, so identify the glands, be able to identify them. And this goes through what they all do. So on page 440 of your textbook, have a read over those. You're eventually going to need to know this. Now, how they're regulated is through, we said, negative feedback. Many hormones regulate negative feedback. Once the hormone is activated, target cells, the endocrine gland is switched off. And we liken it to a thermostat. Okay. The furnace releases heat. That'd be like the hormone. This would be like the gland releasing its hormone. And the hormone then goes back to oftentimes the brain, the pituitary gland, oftentimes the brain, to shut down the furnace. When there's too much of something, it gets shut down. But if it's too cold, it turns it on. So these have opposite effects. So what may be negative? When one is too low, the other one increases. When one's too high, the other one decreases. And this is in your textbook. It specifically looks at antidiuretic hormone, which we're going to look at again. We learned about in Bio 20 that affects your water retention. Okay, when water is being retained, it shuts off ADH, which gets released from the pituitary gland. Tropic hormones, hormones that target other endocrine glands. So that's another definition. So many are released from the anterior pituitary. So this would be a tropic hormone, hormone that targets other glands, the pituitary gland. So hormone 1 is tropic. Hormone 2 is tropic because it's a hormone that is going to trigger another target gland. But hormone 3 is not a tropic hormone. It has a negative feedback. It can shut off the pituitary or hypothalamus. Key that you watch this video. Spend some time going through that one. Okay, page 442, questions 1 to 4, and light up your light, page 443, question 1. Spend some time going through this. It's important.